hope I have good sound here. Let's get to it. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Paint and Live. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday evening. Let me go ahead and prepare our live stream here. Okay, so we're gonna get to it in a few minutes. I have a delay built in. What is this? What? You're legally required to comply with the Children's Online Policy, Privacy Act, and or other laws. You're obligated to tell us if your live stream is made for kids. Use the live control room. I need to go do that right now. No, and it just says whoops. Okay, so I'm gonna do that on a better computer than this. Let's change this. We're going to say painting Aristeia LE Dart. Again, why not? We're just gonna do that, and I'm gonna do this is gonna be hashtag Aristeia. Yeah. Okay. Unsupported resolution. How dare you? All right. Let's go ahead and go to our dashboard. So here we go. All right, folks, so here is what we're working on this evening. Working on 2 miniatures. It's kind of the back half of a commission that I actually interrupted to do another like emergency commission, and hopefully they played their game tonight, and hopefully that went well for them. But tonight we're going to be painting some science fiction miniatures, and I am gonna jump in the Discord here in case anybody wants to join me in live chat. Okay. Although I see nobody on. I see nobody on. So it can be another quiet evening where I can talk and ramble and do whatever mess I feel like doing, right? This is all about me, folks. This is what I want to do. I'm going to sing the songs I want to sing. I'm going to climb the mountains I want to climb. You know, all that jazz. Okay, so I'm going to throw that out and get myself a decent rag. And yeah, so working on 2 science fiction miniatures. One is Codifier Brave from Relic Knights. He was a limited edition mini. Who cares? Frankly, who cares? You guys know how I feel about Relic Knights. I loved Relic Knights for a very long time. One of my favorite games of all time. I still feel like it could have been the perfect miniature gaming experience for me. Except for one small hitch. And you want to know what that hitch is the hitch is that they couldn't actually deliver on the Kickstarter. Yeah, it's a tiny problem, folks, that they could not deliver on the Kickstarter. Just touching up a little bit of yellow here. But he's the undercard, right? He's not even a very good sculpt. Here's what we're talking about, folks. We are painting her. Tonight we're going to be painting limited edition Dart, who's got a little bit of a missing piece there, a little bit of paint missing there on her face. So let's take care of that like right now. I need some Gilliman flesh, like a boss. There's a lot of dark oat flesh in this thing. There's some Gilliman flesh. Need some Gilliman flesh like a boss, right? And then I'm gonna take some ink and we're gonna ink this whole. We're gonna ink most of this model down because our client Albert in this case, wants orange and black as the theme, and I think it's pretty hot, to be honest with you. I think it's pretty dope. So that's what we're gonna do. I need blazing ink, good old P3 blazing ink, and I'm not even gonna thin it. We're just gonna go. We're raw dogging this bad boy. We're just going straight in, son. This is how we do. Um, can I cut it with a little bit of glaze? Just a lit. I just went back on my word. I need to cut it with a little bit of glaze. I want a little bit more open time. It's already plenty thin, but I just want a little bit more open time, right? So I basically just dropped one, just dropped one little drop of glaze medium. Well, let's build this orange up. And that's about as orange as we're gonna get here. It's like a fiery orange here. I just want to get more of that color down. All right, build up that orange a little bit. Make sure we don't get confused for being yellow, right? We definitely want to be orange in this case. And not just like regular ass orange. I want to be sci-fi balls out orange, right? No regrets, no apologies orange on this homie. Like this. Right? That's a lot of orange. But it's a bright orange. Right? So you can tell the hair is blonde and the body is orange. That's where I'm trying to draw the distinction. Blonde hair, orange body. Okay? Cool? Looking pretty orange there. Looking pretty orange guys. Pretty psyched on that. Yep, pretty happy about that. Let's let that dry. And let's rock. Let's go back to this dude. Not that I want to. I don't think he's particularly interesting, but I gotta let that ink dry there. And in the meanwhile, we're gonna hit this homie with a couple of different colors. So he's mostly a bunch of different grays and browns, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash, well, yeah. I'm gonna wash the, I'm gonna wash this whole main part of his body with basilicanum gray to give me another deep gray here. And then we're just gonna keep rocking from there, okay? So a little basilicanum gray on like this part here. And you can see it's dulling that tone. That's what we want. Want a good dull tone there. Because we're following the box art for the most part. You know, not 100% obviously, but we're gonna follow the basic general scheme here. And for what it's worth, he's decent. He's a decent model. He's just, I don't know. I'm biased. I'm biased against the model now because of, and it's not Bray's fault. It's definitely not the Penny Arcade guy's fault. It's that he's now attached to, well, he's attached to a game that I once loved and is now sort of the end of it. But yeah, it's good. We're getting a good, nice deep shade there. Okay, and I'm gonna come back and highlight the outer cloak So you can see I started off with kind of a skeleton horde on everything, and now I'm going to start to differentiate skeleton horde into different tones. And you do that in certain color schemes. Like this color scheme has a lot of grays and a lot of browns in it. So if you start with a common starting point like skeletal horde, you using a couple of tints, a couple of shades, and a couple of highlights, you can diverge from there. Kind of like what I do with Iandian yellow. Right. So I need like a bone color. Throw me a bone here on the cloak. So let's see if I can find a good bone color. It's not quite a good bone color. Huh. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Nice and quiet evening for me. But I do have to wrap up this commission because then I can actually get back to painting like my own stuff, which would be nice. So we're gonna do Dirty Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Dirty Bone. Alright. And this is gonna form the outer part of his trench coat. And I don't need a whole lot of water to thin this. Right, so this is gonna go in here. Yeah. I will be upfront and just say I am sorry for the quality of the YouTube content lately. It's been a very, very busy time for me personally and professionally. So I have not been able to get the quality match report and uh, kind of long form content. Hey, what's up, Nelson? Mythic Battle Pantheon. Yeah, no, I'm wrapping this one up, dude. So I'll be free very, very shortly. You know, I have some stuff I want to paint for me, but I just paint whenever. That's just stuff that I will paint when I get to it. It's not considerably urgent on any front. You know. But yeah, what have you been up to, man? Just been super busy. I bet all of us are really, really busy right now because it's, if you're working a job, it's the crunch before the holidays set in, and then some of the others of us are going to get more busy during the holidays because there's some of us that are working like those seasonal jobs that intensify as you get closer to Christmas. Thankfully, mine does not, but mine is like all managerial end of year stuff. So like, performance reviews and that kind of stuff for me. So this is looking pretty good as far as being able to highlight that. Highlight the cloak. So he's really gonna just match that. The colors there. Alright. But yeah, I should be free. I don't know. Have you been doing any gaming at all? Gaming has been super hard for me to get It's been super, super hard for me to find games. I'm at like the upsetting level of not being able to find games. Yeah, you're in a good market right now. Did you know that house, there's a house catty corner to CQ that's for sale right now? I can't afford it, but I'm still calling it my house because that'd be awesome to live literally, you know, literally 20 yards from Comic Quest. Pretty awesome. Would love to do that. All right. Kind of like things with you Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon. I do not know yet. Maybe. Hopefully. What depends on what time you're talking in the afternoon. Think I think there's like an early evening thing for me. I don't remember. We'll have to see. You haven't gamed for 2 months. Holy crap. Holy crap. I'm mad about, like, it's been 2 weeks, really, since... Has it been 2 weeks? Yeah, like 2 weeks since I've had a game. There's Basalt Gray. That's not the gray I want, though. I was looking for that the other night. Sorry about that. Okay. I need this black gray, but I need, like, more of it. So I'm going to try to find my German gray. Getting hard for me to replace certain lines of paint. So I'm having to go and find alternatives in slightly different lines. There's the basalt gray that I just put away. This black gray seems worse than the one I just put away. Seems empty. Yeah, I need German gray. Where's German gray, people? I know you guys don't know. I'm just looking. Seems like every gray I have just jumped out at me. Except for the gray I want. Man. It's here. I just gotta find it. Gonna meet around 5:30. Ooh. I'll try. I might be able to do that. Alright. Dark gray. Dark gray might be dark enough. I think if I go dark gray and then I wash it with armor wash, that might work. Or we can just go in for the good stuff. German gray. I found it. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can try for that. I can't guarantee I can do that, Nelson, but I will try. All right. That's as good as a promise as I can get right now. All right, so German gray. All right. And we're going to figure out how to do this awesome color scheme. It's going to be black and orange at the end of this, okay? First, the easy part. The headgear is going to be black. So, before we even worry about the other stuff, let's paint the headgear in. And I gotta go back in and make sure all the optics are good. I had I painted a gold dragon in the last 2 days. There was another client that, kind of presented me with a little bit of a painting emergency. He had a D&D game tonight, and he needed a big-ass gold dragon done in 2 days. And so I I charged him extra because of the the rush, and it wasn't my best painting, but it turned out all right. Right? It looked okay. I couldn't get really good photos of it, but I can show you what I did manage to get off of it. Okay. There. So far, black headgear, check. Right? Alright. And, okay, so now we gotta decide how this is gonna go. Most of her jacket is gonna be black. So I can just go in right now and paint this black. So it's gonna be alternating black and orange panels on her hoodie. So this being a black panel, we'll go there. I'm going to paint this entire panel in. And that'll be it's a fun. This is going to be a super fun color scheme, I think. It's going to be very striking with the contrast here. It's a color scheme I use on a lot of stuff. But I didn't pick it this time. This time, Albert picked it. So if you don't like the color scheme, you can blame Albert. I love the color scheme because I use it on a bunch of my stuff. My latest Alchemist team is almost this exact same color combo. It's very close. So that panel, this panel, that panel, and this panel are orange. So Mythic Battles Pantheon seems good. Andrew was talking it up on our chat the other day. So that's good. It does seem like a super fun game. Miniatures look pretty good. I really like the aesthetics for it. So, yeah. So it'll be cool to paint some more of it. And this jacket has very small orange panels. There's not a lot of... Not too much orange there. But yeah, I want that house near CQ. I know I'm really in no position to buy a house right now, but I really like it. For what it's worth. I really like that house. My wife and I were driving through that neighborhood and saw it, and she jumped out. She's like, I'm just gonna jump out and get the pricing on the house. She jumped out of the car to look at it and then realized that we were right across the park from CQ and pointed that out, like, oh my god, we're right by CQ. How cool is that? That's kind of the dream, right? Because then for me it's kind of the dream, because the nights where I'm meeting up to game, it's like no big deal. I could game like twice a week, and just it's no big deal because I can walk right back home after. You like the new course system? I'm not sure what you're asking me. Except for all Mythicans. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with what the new course system is in that sense, sir. I don't know what that means. That's news to me that there's a new course system for all CMON and Mythic Games. I think I'm gonna have to do a second orange for the straps. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a separate orange for the straps. Anyway, let's do more black. We'll do black knee pads. Oh, that house there, they want 720 for it, which, you know, that's quite a bit. Um, but it's on a really good lot. We don't like the fact that it's got a pool, but you know, the Hail Mary play we're talking about would be like selling our place and then, you know, getting a down for that place, and then trying to figure out how we do a monthly at, you know, at that high of a lease. So it's not the best plan, I will fully admit. It's a little bit of a pipe dream, but we're still living the fantasy for right now. You know, we're still in the land of the what ifs right now. All right. I also think we should have black boots, because anything outside of black boots just worries me. It looks weird. So we're gonna do black boots here. So at least this segment here, this bottom segment, will be black. But yeah, it's our cool little fantasy, Nelson, that we, well, it's mostly my fantasy. My wife would be okay with us living there, but it's not her fantasy. It's mostly mine. Okay. Okay. Let's get some more black on here. 720, those homes are built in the 50s. Yeah. Yeah, she didn't really like the floor plan. And that house has been on the market for a couple of weeks now, so we're going to see how desperate they get to sell. They're probably not going to get that. They're not going to get 720 for that place. I will be surprised. It's on a good lot though. It's a good corner lot there. That's what you're really getting for that place, is the lot. And for me specifically, the location. But I think that only matters to me. Like, zero other people care about that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to get a second. Either a second orange, or just deepen up the orange. Actually, not bad looking. It's not terrible looking. And there's a good amount of black going down on this model. Okay, so let's break this down. Gloves will also be black, right there. We'll leave some space for some fingers to stick out, right? And that glove will also be black. Okay. Yeah, location is a gold mine, man. Love it. All right. So if that's black, that means this center handle part here is orange, which means these parts here should be black, which means the outside of the bow will be orange. All right, so let's do that. It's kind of how my logic flows with this kind of stuff when you're doing a custom color palette. I also really like limited color palettes. You know, if you can pick two or three really nice colors to go with one another, and you just tighten that up and paint that, it looks so nice. Even if it's just, even if you're just giving it a basic paint job, like this contrasting orange and black looks pretty hot, right? You're already, your eye is already drawing you all over different places of this color scheme because of that. Right, so now I've got some black there. All right, gotta figure out what to do with the arms. I may go super fancy with the arm scales. I don't know yet. This here, the scabbard for the sword, will definitely be black right there. Right, and we just leave the little Aleph symbol to be orange, and the blade itself will also be orange, which means the handle and the hilt should be black. See how everything just sort of decides itself once you decide what has to be orange. So I'm gonna do that part of the sword black, and I'm gonna leave the pommel orange for now, and we'll see if we keep it orange. But it's definitely, the handle of the pommel will not be black. These arrows, the shafts of the arrows will be black. So let's just do that. Right, the arrows, but not the feather guides. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're painting up some dart for Aristeia / Infinity. However you want to use her. She's an Aristeia model to me. She's one of my favorite models, pretty much in miniature gaming. Right? I love this model. I know I mentioned that in the last video I did, where I started to paint her, but I absolutely love this model. I think it's great. Great model. Okay. Oops. So let's get the black down, and then I'm going to do black on Codifier Bray. And like I said, he's kind of the undercard here. But yeah, if you're just joining us, let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Also, if you want to join the me and Nelson upset about not being able to game club, tell us the last time you got in a game. Let's just vent to one another. Let's sing the blues together that we have not been able to get in miniature gaming. I did actually run a demo of Malifaux the other night. Do we want to count that? Should we count that? I don't think we should count that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fun, but I don't think we should count that. That's just me. I feel like brown here would mess up that line. Let's do these straps black. I know that there's already a lot of black on the model, but the straps make sense to me black. Like, yeah. But man, do I love this. I just think she's such a great mini. Like flat out, she's just one of the best minis that we ever made. Yeah, taught another person Malifaux. Um, he's a regular at CQ, so we'll probably see more of him. I don't know if Malifaux is his thing though. There were a lot of rules, I think. That's that's the thing. Malifaux is a very intimidating game for people that want to play more casual. But I think it's a misconception personally, because yes, you can play Malifaux as a very intricate, super thinky, um, super deep game. It totally is, but there's no reason why you couldn't play a more casual version. And let me explain what I think you should do. Right? Let's say you wanted to play Malifaux, but you really only wanted like one keyword, and you really only and you didn't want to have to study up on what everything in the game does, because there's 64 masters and um, there's just hundreds upon hundreds of different models in the game. And so one of my complaints about Malifaux back in the day was Malifaux second edition is like there's just too much to learn. There's too much to memorize. You have to know what your opponent's bringing to the table. You have to know about all these weird play styles. And if you are going to a tournament to try to win, you're kind of right. You should know, as much about the game as you can. You should really try to know more about stuff like that. But if you really wanted to play Malifaux casually, I'm just gonna say this. I think you have a better chance of playing Malifaux casually than you do of playing 40k casually. You have a better chance of playing Malifaux casually than you do of playing Guild Ball casually. And I'll explain in a minute why I think that's true. I think you have a better chance of playing Malifaux casually than you do of playing a lot of miniature games casually. Okay? And so what do I mean by that, and how? Well, if this one thing I explain to people about Malifaux, especially especially avid miniature gamers, one of the things I explain to them about Malifaux is that yes, the playstyles are all over the map, and you can really easily get lost in all the different masters and all the different mechanics and all that kind of good stuff. But ultimately, winning games is about taking generic actions. It's about understanding the strategies and the schemes, and then figuring out when you want to walk over and score and when you want to take your opponent's points away. It's that easy. You can play a game of Malifaux, in my opinion, knowing the basic rules. You can play a game of Malifaux, walk around, not really know like the crazy intricacies of what everything does, and just take interact actions and do generic attacks, do charges, and just try to get, just try to punch the list, just try to punch the um, the victory list, and it's super feasible, right? That's why I'm saying you can play Malifaux casually and not feel like you're going to be stomped super hard if you really just kind of focus your game on figuring out how to get strats and schemes. That's the truth. I firmly believe that, and I think you can walk around like you could take your, you can buy one keyword and spend the majority of your time learning just that keyword, only as it pertains to winning games by getting strats and schemes. I firmly believe that. Your opponent's going to have something new for you to deal with every time, and probably for the first round, maybe the first two rounds, it's gonna feel very frustrating to try to deal with. But by round three, you probably figured out some workarounds, especially if you spent the time getting to know your own crew, and but equally important, if not more, figuring out how to accomplish a set number of strats and schemes, right? If you just keep it firmly in the front of your mind that here's how I get breakthrough, here's how I get plant explosives, here's how I um, deliver a message. If you really worked on that side of the skill set, then there isn't really much to be worried about for playing Malifaux. And you'll be good enough to play it casually. And that's where I think we run into misconceptions, because people do think like, oh, you have to know everything to play Malifaux. It's that's why I'm saying it's easier to play Malifaux than it is to play casually, than it is to play 40k casually, than it is to play Infinity casually. Because because in 40k and Infinity, you have to interact with the opponent's army. You have to attack and be attacked by their army. Malifaux, you don't necessarily have to. And when you are, if you understand a little bit about order activation, your order of activation and how to win duels and when to win duels, you'll be fine. It's kind of a side goal of mine is to try to convey that to somebody and actually show them in game, like a somewhat casual gamer, to show them, no, yeah, you could totally just play Malifaux and not know what everything does, but you know how to win your objective, and you'll be pretty good at the game. And that's why I think Malifaux can legitimately be played as a competitive or a casual game, which is something I cannot say about a lot of the other miniature games I'm playing. Anyway. Okay. Looking pretty good. I know he's a super dull. Um, he's a pretty dull color scheme here. Alright. Let's go back to Dart here for a minute. She has... So I'm going to paint in the little scaling. And I'm wondering if I want to stripe it or alternate it. I don't know. I think maybe I alternate it, or actually, I think I stripe it. Well, actually, I may not be able to stripe it. I'll alternate it. Oh, yeah, let's alternate it. Well, this is going to get a little intricate with individual arm scales being painted in. This is very anti-octave painting ethos, which is, don't force yourself to hand paint individual scales or bits of armor, that kind of thing, because it seldom works. But in this case, she looks like a tiger, which I absolutely love. Gotta love that tiger style, man. Wu-Tang tiger style, man. See that? Pretty hot. Everybody gotta like Wu-Tang. Oops. It looks like kind of polka dot, which is kind of cool. It's like breaking up the outline of her arms, which is kind of awesome. Okay, like that quite a bit. Okay, so next up, let's paint in some deep orange. Do I have a good like bright orange I can use? It's a pale orange. That's a decent orange. Decent. Let's see if I can find. Ooh, that's orange fire? Yes. Let's do some orange fire. That's nice. It's a nice color. It needs like almost no thinning. Also, it doesn't hide worth a shit. That'd be interesting. Orange fire. Oh, I love the color though. It's a great shade. So I'm gonna say orange is one of my favorite colors to paint for painting miniatures. Really absolutely love it. You just get so many cool bright effects painting orange. And it just looks so great. Especially with black or white. It's just a great color. So what colors do you guys really like in terms of the color schemes on your miniatures? Do you have favorite colors that you like? Or do you base it on something else, right? When you come up with color schemes, which I know not all of us do, but when you come up with color schemes, do you try to force like almost here it's almost like a cartoonish level of contrast that I force here to kind of make this happen? Do you go for something like that, or do you go for, we'll say cleaner looks? Do you try to get like more realistic looks or more cartoony looks? Like almost comic book style look. A lot of people like to paint in like a comic style. I don't really know what my style is. I don't know if it's a comic style or if it's a like a realistic style. Maybe it's just I think I just paint colors I like for the most part. And however it comes out is how it comes out. That's generally me. All right, that's looking pretty good. She's looking pretty good. A lot of contrast. Let's get some white paint down on the optics so that I can go in and paint her goggles in. And then I need to do that on what's his name also. Ah, this white is not. That white is just about dead. I know I have a good white back here somewhere. White's another color scheme that I like to use. I like to paint white as a color scheme, and I know a lot of people hate painting white color schemes. I think they're great though. I think they're super rewarding. They just look so nice and clean, and it's white. If you actually are, comfortable painting white color schemes, that means you can use anything as your complementary color, which is awesome, right? in with regards to painting miniatures, white is as versatile as black is in terms of doing color schemes, because everything goes with white and black, and you can even put them together. Ugh, what is going on here? Trying to figure out. Okay, so this, yeah, so that's a big, it's actually a fairly big lens there. Right. Then you have another lens here. Trying to figure out what color the lens should be on her optics. Maybe green? Maybe green or bright blue. It should be pretty pronounced, whatever I go with. Could also do red. Oops. Paint a little too much. A little too much white there. So I'm going to close it back up with this. There we go. Just close that back up. There we go. And then I can even just kind of close the optics windows that way. Good. Okay. And this guy is pretty close to being, oops, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oops. Oops. I forgot, I thought I still had white paint on my brush. Didn't mean it. Okay. Alright. So let's get the red buttons down on this dude. He's actually not that far from being, these models are not that far from being done. Both of them, actually. There's just not, they're fun. There's not a whole lot to do on them. Okay. Alright. So Mythic Battle Pantheon. So I'm going to be painting some more Greek stuff here, sounds like. Which is cool with me. Should be fun. Oops. Oh, too much red right there, so I gotta touch that up. Let's get all this red. Let's get all the red buttons done. And let's do the knuckles here. Nice. Okay. And then just a little bit of touch up. A little bit of touch up. Okay. I know it's super quiet. You want to hear me rant about something? Resin kits. Resin kits suck, people. I've come to that conclusion. I've come to the conclusion that resin miniature kits are not worth the hassle. And that what people say about how good resin kits for this and this and that are lying to themselves, or they're flat out wrong. Yeah, I said it. Come changing my mind. You can if you want. Let me tell you a little story of what happened this week. Okay, so All right, so I um, I was approached by a client to paint a gold dragon, right? And gold dragons are super fun, right? Here's Oranax the gold dragon. Huge model, huge model. I know you can't see very well in here, but there it is. Fantastic, beautiful sculpt, gigantic model, the biggest model I've had on here for a while. They're about the size of the dragons that you get for Arcadia Quest, which are gigantic, right? But let me tell you, Arcadia Quest did a better job than Gale Force 9. And they did a better job on one specific front, and that was Simon picked PVC for a dragon that big. And Gale Force 9, in their infinite wisdom, picked resin for this. And they screwed up, okay? Resin is not good, people. The reason why, like, this looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, but when we close in on things, it starts to look really messy. Let me see if I can show you some of the horrors. Well, here's how it's supposed to look, right? It's a gold dragon that's sitting on a field of treasure like that. And you're like, okay, that's a pretty simple sculpt, right? It's not terribly dynamic. It's a dragon that's literally parked his belly and his ass on a pile of gold. Really no big deal, okay? The problem is they section this model extremely poorly. Extremely poorly. So the head was in 3 pieces, the neck was 1 piece, every one of these legs is a separate piece, there's this tiny body, and then the wing, both arms and wings have the last membranes of the wings attached to the tail. And let me show you what that looks like when you try to put that together on a resin kit and you're just not having fun. So here's some pinning action, all right? I'm doing the right thing. I'm being a good citizen. I'm like, yes, it's resin. Resin typically means you don't need to, well, let me back up. I had to go and wash everything, right? Because resin is the most susceptible material to having paraffin-based release agent. What that means is wax and dirt on the surface of the piece, which will repel your paint. So you really have to wash resin. I've learned my lesson. I painted a gill ball goal that was resin and had the paint bounce, and it's awful. So I washed it, pinned it. Then I took plastic putty, started puttying all of the different gaps and all that stuff, right? Again, you would have to do this with almost any other material except for hard plastic. Hard plastic is really nice. And you can see the groove here on the neck, right? That's the head, that's the neck. So I did pinning, I did putty. Then when you try to fit the model together, there's all kinds of problems. This is the worst model kit I have ever put together in my like 30 years of being in the hobby. So, like I said, the wing membrane, like the back half of it attaches to the tail. Now, what happens if it's a resin piece that isn't formed correctly? Well, you are effed so hard because this attaches to the base, it attaches to the back of the wing, and it attaches to the body all simultaneously. And if all of that is wrong, or if one of them is wrong, in this case, it was horrendously wrong, you're in big trouble. So here's what happened when I originally attached it. You can see this, there's a giant 1/4 inch gap right there, right? You can see the line all the way there. Then you have the tail, you see another gap there, you see a gaps all the way here. And then here's the really upsetting part. Let me show you that. So see how the tail goes up? Well, guess what? See that groove in the base? That tail is supposed to be laying up against the base, flat. And this is how it attached to the body. It didn't attach correctly to the tail. It didn't connect the wing membrane because this was It's almost like, so if the angle of the wing was this way on the body, and the angle of the wing on the tail was like that, and you're trying to make that, one continuous membrane, you're SOL, dude. So, so all that's going on, and it's resin. It's resin. It's one of those instances where I was like, praying that it would be made out of PVC, right? PVC, the worst, widely considered the worst material to make miniatures out of. But you know what? The PVC is terrible when you're doing models of this scale because of the crazy mold lines, crazy rubbery mold lines. The details aren't great. It's not the best thing ever, right? I will agree with you. PVC is not good for when you're making anything less than, say, 40 millimeter models. Not very good. But the advantage when you make models like this, these big models with PVC, is if they screw up how it's attached to the base, you can dip it in hot water. You can superheat it. You can bend it, right? And make PVC work. And at this scale, it actually holds a fair amount of detail. It's actually fairly decent. I gotta paint this black. So I'm not 100% done with this guy, but getting close. But anyway, on that resin kit, I had the worst of all possible worlds. You have a material that has to be cleaned, has to be pinned, has to be, then you have to hope that it was keyed correctly and lines up. And so what I ended up doing, see, there it is, I circled the giant 1/4 inch gap there. So what I ended up doing was everything. And you can see it from the top view. See how the wing membranes don't connect? You have gaps on either side. Well, these are huge gaps. You can't just do it with plastic putty. You got to do it with gray stuff. So I sculpted gray stuff. I sculpted to make a $90 resin kit miniature fit the body. That's stupid. And you know all that fine detail on the back? Well, guess what? By the time you're done cleaning and filling, that's what you get. It's not very good, is it, folks? Resin kits suck. Resin kits are bad for miniatures, and manufacturers need to cut that shit out immediately. And let's stick to what works. They save a lot of money when they move to resin, but they increase the pricing to us. They don't save a lot. That's not really true. That's not actually true. I gotta take that back. They don't necessarily save money going to resin. There you go though. That's another downside. Why? What is? Why? Why did we get away from metal? Why do we get away from plastic for this? There are some instances where resin is good, and you can, like, if you're doing a bust or you're doing something of appropriate size and not a lot of pieces. Namely, resin is really nice if you're doing one solid piece, like a bust, or like only a couple of pieces. Trying to do this crap with resin, you're just being a dick at that point. You're just being a dick. Stop. Stop, miniature companies, okay? Resin is not a good material for miniature kits. So I have to do that. So I have to sculpt there. I have to use plastic putty here. I have to pin here. And if you notice, the body still isn't sitting on the base correctly. You have to cut all the contact points out. You have to fill the rest of this with putty and green stuff, or plastic putty in my case. And once again, the tail, I've just had to fill it. It looks terrible. Once I started painting, nice, but worst kit for me to put together ever. Ever. And it's a $90 D&D kit. $90 D&D kit. Worst kit for me to put together ever. That's horrible. Meanwhile, Dart. Dart is a great pose. She's got fantastic... Oh, can't really show you the way I've got the camera focused now. She's got fantastic detail on her face. She's got a good miniature pose. You know how many pieces Dart is? 3. 3 pieces. And you get this out of a nicely done, nicely executed metal miniature. And you know how I bitch about pinning, but I will take this any day of the week over that D&D shit, man. That was terrible. Just stop, guys. Just not good. Not good, D&D guys. Stop. So that's my rant. That's my opinion. If you feel differently about resin and you want to care to tell me how that stupid dragon was just fine in resin, you can make that argument. I'm going to even help you. I think the argument you make is that it wasn't necessarily the resin at fault. It's the fact that the guy who cut it didn't cut it properly, right? He could have, the person designing the cuts could have made it so that the body, most of the body was physically attached to the base. They could have cut the wing so that it's one continuous membrane all the way through. They could have done some stuff that would have made it arguably better. I do not dispute that for a second. But I still think overall would have been better PVC, hard plastic. Metal, it just wouldn't be structurally sound, and it would weigh 30 pounds. So probably not metal. All right, I'm going to do some blue. There's like some blue here. Some blue here. There's little bits of blue here. So yeah, I'm going to make a little meme. Resin miniature kits suck. Change my mind. Because I firmly believe that. I firmly believe they suck. Sorry, guys. Clearly, you guys are not as upset about this as I am, but that's okay. You guys didn't have to build that model and paint it in 2 days. You didn't have to do that. I get it. That's fine. Yeah, meanwhile, Dart, dope AF. Just dope. I don't know why. What am I doing wrong? Does it look like... Why does that look wrong? Hold on. Okay. We'll highlight that a little bit. Okay. And then let's do on the basing. We're actually getting pretty close to finishing on these models. Oh, I'm gonna burnish the gold on the staff here. But yeah, we're doing pretty well. I need to get back to you doing like Guild Ball games or Malifaux reports or something. Gotta get back to it. I will, folks, someday when I have a little more time, and the people around me have a little more time too. It's been hard to schedule with other people lately. So we've fallen on hard times here. Play It Painted. We just trying to get the schedules right and get everybody back on board and get into a rhythm of making good quality content again. And I think, doing the paint streams is great, and maybe that's the rock I need to lean on right now during all this is leaning into what's working, and this is part of what's working. And I appreciate you folks tuning in and you know, supporting me, while the extent of my content has just been that. But like I said, we can always improve, we can always get better. Always offer you guys quality content. There you go. Let's get some Griff Charger Gray down, if I can find it. I know I had it up here. Griff Charger Gray for this steel plate kind of matches the Corvus belly generic theme, and it looks pretty good. And then, so we'll do this, let that dry for a bit, and then come back and hit it with Basilicanum Gray to give it a little bit more definition. Here we go with this guy. And he's not a bad sculpt. He's kind of cool. Okay. So let that dry for a minute. While that's drying, I'm gonna switch gears here real quick, because we're gonna finish basing this bad boy. Right? Just gonna glue some plants and flowers and that kind of stuff. Where's that? I knew I bought some tufts the other day. What did I do with them? Let's just do that. I do like Mr. Dahone here. He is a cool sculpt. Let's just plop some glue down in a couple spots. Put some tufts down on Homeboy. Right? Let's do 3 because he's such a big base. Let's do flowers as one of them, and some other plant tufts as the other ones. Okay? He's just chilling with the flowers, as you do when you're a big giant space alien monster. Right? Put some flowers down right there. And then let's do some of these tufts here. And then let's do another one back here. Okay? Alright. Pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Yeah. I gotta paint the base black. That will help. Where is the Thamar? Thamar black. What did I do with that? There it is. So this is the most hodgepodge commission. It's just a bunch of different stuff. But it was fun. There's a lot of different fun components to this commission. Dart really being the most quality piece in all of this. But let's paint all this. So yeah, let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Or if you have any questions, comments, or threats. I pretty much take it all seriously. Right? It's a pretty cool model, not gonna lie, but for $90 model, I have a sculpt extra. Yeah, I really think that's Gale Force 9's inexperience with making models of that scale. It's a great model. It really is. It's a very, very good sculpt. That's not the issue. The issue was whoever the person designed tasked with chopping that model and the decision to make that model in resin is where I find fault. All right. So put the Dahone away for a minute. Let's just do this. Mr. What's this guy's name? Codifier Bray? I don't even think they have rules for him in the current Relic Knights, which is super dumb. Because they were like, yeah, we know the models exist out there, but we're not gonna release any rules for them until we get to phase 2. And I'm like, bitch, you will not even hit phase 1. Can you at least give people rules for models that they spent money on, that they supported your shit company with to buy limited edition models? We were ahead of the curve. Um, we bought Questing Knight versions of our popular and favorite Relic Knights, and you want to put rules out for that? That's kind of shit. That's kind of trash, Ninja Division. As opposed to many of your other moves, which were also trash. Why not? Like, I came out and said, like, when they said that no, they're not putting out beta rules for for the questing knights and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, what the hell are you gonna do then? You said you're gonna sell things and try to get the company back on track, but the rest of the time you're just gonna have your dick in your hand hoping that people buy your stuff. So can you please make rules for the models that are already out? Right? Why do you have to be such a dick, Ninja Division? I'm telling you right now, man. I'm so upset with that company. Alright. So we'll give that some time to dry. We still have to hit the base with Basilicanum Gray. So we'll give that a minute to dry. Let me show you the rest of the miniatures that were in this really, really, really hodgepodge commission. So you saw 3 of them right there. And then the other ones are like, we got 2 of these Nick Christmas Rogue miniatures. And you can see I painted one very Christmassy and one very just ice roguey. So they were cool. And did some snow on the bases. Right? So they were cool. Then there was also FF9000. It's a little cipher that goes with Codifier Bray. And then there is the Owlbear family, which are really cool. They're a little dark, but I like them. See how there's another baby owlbear back here somewhere. Where'd it go? There it is. This guy's standing on his hind legs. Check him out. He's angry. And then there's this thing, which was Kiri from Critical Role, which I do not watch. Oh, all the nerds are moaning right now. Oh, you don't watch something that's for nerds. Yeah. I don't, guys. Yeah, I know. It's upsetting, right? Doctor Who's dumb. Firefly was overrated. Oh my god. Star Wars is a bad franchise. They're gonna kick me out of the nerddom forever. Because the shit you like is overhyped. It was good. It was, most of it was good in its prime, but once it went super popular and these companies took it over and milked it for money, they started just feeding you guys slop. And you guys ate that shit up. It's great. See? This is what happens. This is what happens when I start ranting. Anyway, did I just say, I said a bunch of, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Haram? What, uh, non-kosher, what's the word I'm looking for? Verboten. Verboten is the word I'm looking for. I said a bunch of verboten shit to nerds. That they're the quote unquote beloved franchises are actually kind of shit. And they're not very good. And you need to rethink. Anyway, I'll shut up for a minute. Jeez. Okay. Just gotta let this dry for a minute so I can get in with the Basilicanum Gray. And then just wrap these up. Um, let's do some edge highlighting while she's here, because she's awesome. She deserves some good edge highlighting. I think it's worth, let's bounce some light off of her. Let's mix it up. Let's do nice things. I do love me some Dart. She's so great, and I love playing her in Aristeia. I don't like Infinity. I tried to like Infinity. I don't like the game. I don't think it's a very good game. There you go. Come at me again, internet. It's too much like 40k. Go ahead. Too much list building. There you go. If you're mad at me, go on, get it out. But Aristeia is a very good game, and super fun. And if you like the MOBA style games, you'll like Aristeia. I really want to play more Aristeia. I actually bought an Aristeia miniature today that I'm hoping to paint. Maybe I can paint that either before or right after Nelson gives me his Mythic Battle Pantheon. I'll still have some time tomorrow night to work on that Aristeia mini. I have 2 Aristeia minis to paint, one of which I can play, that one, and one of which I don't have the base cards for. So I have to wait on the other one. Unless I just rely on the app, which I probably will not do. Yeah. Let's bounce a little light off these bad boys. Right? Off of Dart here. Just doing a little highlighting in the hair. Some edge highlighting's nice. This is nice because it helps draw your eyes around the model to various things. Right? Various different pieces of the model that start to look more interesting with just a little bit of an edge highlight on them. Especially sword edges and that kind of thing look better. A little bit of highlight on them. Okay. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Hey, what's up, Jose? All right. Spaz, so do you have any hope SDE Kickstarter and RK? No, zero hope. Nope. Sorry, dude. You know, if you guys watched this channel back in the day, you would know I was like #1 fanboy. I was like super fanboy #1 of Ninja Division. And I defended them to friends for a while. Oh no, they'll get it together. Oh no, they'll get it together. Now don't get me wrong. Do I want to be wrong? Absolutely I want to be wrong about this. I really want to be wrong about this. But I think it's unhealthy at this point to try to hold out hope. I think it's unhealthy. I want them to succeed. I want them to come back and I want to have my product in front of me. I do. Will I endorse them again? No. Even if they did bring it back, I cannot in good conscience lead my friends back down that aisle to support these guys. I've done it time and again. I did it with Eldorado and Anima Tactics, and they killed both of those games. I did it with um, Super Dungeon Explorer, and we know what happened there. I did it with RK, and we know what happened there. I did it with Way of the Fighter, and we're never getting those miniatures. Like I I was really one of the biggest cheerleaders of this company of all time. I'm one of the first 3 people to join the Ninja Volunteer Program. Okay, I met all 5 of the ninjas. I had many, many, many conversations with John Kadichi, um, where he looked us in the face and said, "Eldorado is going nowhere. We're going to keep it forever." And they discontinued the game the same year. Okay, I have been quiet about this out of respect for things that they did for me in the past. They've been a stalwart supporter of mine. You know, if you look at the Ninja All Stars, which is another thing I pushed on my friends. Guess what they did with that? They lost that game too. Everything they touched has turned into ass. Hot, smoking, steaming pile of ass. Everything they've touched. And I liked all of it, but I cannot. I just can't be healthy. I can't be a healthy, sane human being and sit here and go, "Oh yeah, they're gonna fix that," because they're not. Um, they're not good at it. They're not good at this. If you want my honest opinion, like I said, Relic Knights is the closest thing to the miniature experience I want. It's the closest thing to the miniature game I want, with the notable exception of it not being a fulfilled game. That's that's the hitch with RK, is that it's not really a game if you never fulfill it. We played Relic Knights beta for like 3 years. We played beta we played open beta 1.5 all the way to RK 2.0. I threw tournaments for RK 2.0. And where are we any closer? Are we any closer to this game coming out? No, we're not. Oh, but we sold some more chibis online. We made more chibis, and I'm like, okay, well, that's I guess that's something. You have a little bit of money in the pocket, but you guys are talking about being, you know, $250,000 in the hole. And I bet those chibis are just barely enough for operating expenses at this point. So I cannot, as much as I want to be wrong, I cannot endorse this company. I can't wear the ninja shirt anymore with pride, and the years of abuse that I used to take by fans coming up to me and going, "When's Robotech RPG Tactics? When are they gonna get Wave 2?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a volunteer. I'm just here to teach you how to play some games. And at the same time, I totally know where that person's coming from. I totally know where that person's coming from. It was a year ago when in the volunteer program, I asked, hey, so those miniatures for Way of the Fighter, that's still a thing, right? We're going to get those, right? I paid $150, $160 to kickstart a card game on the fact that there was going to be miniatures included because that's the main thing I wanted. I didn't even give a shit about the card game when it came out. Turns out, Way of the Fighter is actually a pretty damn good card game. It's a pretty damn good card fighting game, and I want to play it, and I want to enjoy it, but I don't want people in public going, hey, Octave, you're playing this game. Here's the problem with being me. Here's my woe. Here's my specific woe. People see me playing a game in public, and they assume I'm promoting that game. That's the downside of being me. If I play a game in public, oh, Octave's playing this game now. Okay, well, he must be promoting that. Let's see what kind of community pops up around that game. If I wanted to play these games in public, I couldn't because people are gonna say, "Oh, Octave's playing Relic Knights 2.0. That must mean that it's gonna come back. That it's gonna be a thing." No, it's not, and I can't give you that kind of hope, and I can't push that in public because I cannot be more responsible or responsible for more people falling for the trap. Okay? It was great when I enjoyed my time hosting Eldorado tournaments, teaching people anima tactics, hosting many Relic Knights tournaments, teaching many people how to play Relic Knights, painting the entire collection of Relic Knights probably 2 to 3 times over just to get more people in the game. That was all super fun, and it's not stuff I regret. But um, we're when you got to the point where I'm losing credibility with my friends, with my LGS, um, when I'm losing, when people are when my brand is being damaged, when Play It Painted is being damaged, um, because I'm still sticking my neck out for these guys, and uh, more importantly than that, my friends are throwing money at things that aren't gonna happen. Then I get upset. I get upset. I know personally 3 to 4 people that spent. I'm sorry, at least 4 people that spent several hundred dollars on Arcade 2.0 and SDE Legends and all that other fucking vaporware that they promised us. And I cannot, in good conscience, back them again. I cannot high five them in public. I cannot give them a thumbs up. I can't even break out the games in public. It is with deep shame that I am actually painting Relic Knight stuff on my stream. And the reason why, I'll tell you why I'm doing this, it's because my Extra Life supporter won these from me in years past and then doubled down and wanted them painted because he likes the models and wants to continue to support me. That's great. That's awesome. And I will do that, and I will show him that we're painting his models and we're taking care of him. But that's the only reason why these are on stream. I have some awesome Relic Knight shit that I would love to put on stream and paint, but I cannot. I can't do it because it sends the wrong message. It's um, like for me to paint GW on stream, in my opinion, on this channel, sends the wrong message. It's kind of like that at this point. And you guys know I won't put GW on this channel. People hire me, oh, paint my GW. Your buff dudes are gonna go have to dance at the club by themselves for now. They're not, you know, they're gonna have to oil down their bodies and rub parts up against one another on their own time. They're not gonna show up on this street. You know, they can shave their chest hairs. Okay, I'll let it go. But uh, yeah, I it's that easy to just get me to rant. Anyway, someday Octave, I'm gonna start a Kickstarter and fund some good down payments for a Relic Knight style. No, I'm working on my own miniature game. Yes, that's right. I too am making a mixtape. Record label, right? It's like dropping a bomb. I made fun of people that tell people that they're working on a miniatures game like it's gonna be the next biggest thing. Like, hey, guess what, man? Hey, guess what? I'm making a miniatures game. And you're supposed to be like blown away by this news, like, oh shit, son, he's making a miniatures game. I ain't never heard that shit before. This is gonna be crazy, right? All of us are making a miniatures game. So when some fool come up and be like, I'm making a miniatures game, unless he's a tried and true and you see sculpts and you see stuff like that, because there are some of those people running around. But in my experience, it's like one in 50. One in 50 people that tell you I'm making a miniatures game actually follow through and make a miniatures game. I am designing things around a miniatures game. I don't know if it will ever be a miniatures game, but it's almost, for me, I'm doing it almost in terms of like research, right? I've been telling people this because people have been, I don't know, it's just been coming up more in conversation recently that I don't want to make a miniatures game around, this cool fluff and this cool lore and here we go and this. The selling point to my miniatures game is that it's a great, clean, convenient experience. I don't think people look at designing miniature games that way, but that's how I intend to look at designing a miniatures game. It's a clean, cool experience, and I think it nets you a totally different style of game, and hopefully it gives you the experience that I want it to, right? Fast, tactical. Um, you use less of your brain bandwidth memorizing stats, making lists, remembering, you know, X, Y, and Z about, A, B, and C model. That's not where your brain should be, in my opinion, when you're playing a miniatures game. Your brain should not be this rule, therefore, or I'm sorry, this ability, therefore this. I need to counter this specifically with this model. Some of your brain bandwidth should be around that, but not a lot. Your brain bandwidth, in my opinion, when you're playing a miniatures game, should be kind of like what you get in Malifaux. If I move here and interact here, I'll score a point and they'll lose a point. That's really tactical miniature gaming to me. It's not. I put four ass blasters and I put four butt munchers together and made the best list. I think that's not a good tactical experience. It's terrible. It's terrible. Um, it, that's what people lean on. The skill set that miniature gamers use to win miniature games currently, I think is deeply flawed. It's deeply flawed. It does not. It there are some, and the miniature games I gravitate towards reward tactical positional thinking as opposed to, oh, well, if I shoot all four of the ass blasters by taking all four of my butt munchers, then we win the game. And we're gonna put my list down, and we're gonna spooge in front, and this is gonna be a thing. That's not a good game, in my opinion. Okay, it's not a good game. 40K is not a good game, people. I'll tell you, it's not a good game. Um, not to me, anyway. I don't care if you like it or not. Uh, building a list and then mathing that list has nothing to do with your ability to outthink and outmaneuver your opponent. Um, and in a miniatures game I would design, or the intent would not be for you to remember that this guy has this stat or this rule or that thing. The thing that would be to remember would be, I used this piece to get here, accomplish this, and stall here. That's really where your thinking should be. And that was my early argument about Malifaux being a fully capable of being a casual game. Uh, because when people have good skills like that, they can be naturally good at the game. Now you can have somebody like a Kevin, for example, who is both good at knowing all the stats and just super sharp with regards to how he moves, when he moves, and that kind of thing. You'll have other players that are really good at list crafting, and they win a portion of games. Kevin wins a majority of games because he has both sets of the skill. And then you have other players that, uh, for example, I know I would say Yvonne is really good at understanding what is actually critical to win games of Malifaux. So she doesn't know all the stats. She's far from it. She doesn't know any. She barely knows like what's on her own character cards. But she does know that if she gets over here first, does the thing, interacts, and then can block me from doing my thing, that she's going to win a game. And that's the kind of thinking, in my opinion, that needs to be rewarded by more miniatures games. And it sadly isn't, because, oh, he has the 4 rules and you can do this, and if I take them and I take 4 of them, it's going to be great. Because people think that that's good gameplay. Guess what? It's shit gameplay. All right? It's dumb. It You can move into your own little corner and remember and memorize a bunch of stupid rules, and then the minute they change those rules, you flip out. Oh, they nerfed my guy. I don't like to stay anymore. Because you're not good at the miniature game. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's because you're not good. You don't have good tactical skills or critical thinking skills on the board to make you a good miniatures gamer. Okay? You're gonna cry about shit like that, and suddenly all of your games are bad. And I know I cry about Midas all the time. I get that, being a slight hypocrite here, but it's true that if your skill set is, I'm gonna go to the miniature store, I'm gonna spend $400 on flyers and tell you how good I am at 40k. Guess what? Your game sucks, dude. It's bad, and your skills are bad. Your skills are poor. You don't Buying the best thing is wrong. It's well, it's not wrong. It's just not a good. It's not a good show of skill on the board. It's not a good show of tactical skill, right? And when I used to play 40k competitively, I didn't. I didn't make good moves in the game. I made good moves out of the game. Designed a Slaanesh Chaos Lord to go 24 inches and kill your commander in the first turn, right? I didn't have to think though. Once he was on the board, I didn't have to think. I push him forward. The dice tell me whether or not I succeed. That's not a good game, and that's why I quit 40k in 5th edition. When in the middle of a game, it was like Orcs versus Blood Angels, and we realized that we weren't even playing the game. That we had finished playing the game the minute our lists were done, because these two armies run at each other, and then you just chuck a bunch of dice back and forth, and somebody walks away and wins because they chucked better dice, or they had a better list. And it's not. And to spend 2 to 3 hours figuring that out is just sad. 2 to 3 hours and several hundred, maybe $1,000 on things, and then to spend X number of hours painting orc after orc after orc after orc. For that to be your gaming experience, it's a nightmare. This is not. This is why miniature gaming needs to get over this whole idea that GW is a good, that 40K is a good game. It's not. It's a terrible game. It's a terrible experience top to bottom when you're building and painting and list building. I get it. Some people really like that shit. But it's not. It's if they when people start playing these other games that reward smart tactical thinking that let you paint miniatures that you actually want to paint and spend time on. If they get some of that experience and realize and get more of their friends to play, because that's really the hitch as to why more people. It's the chicken or egg thing, right? You can't get a job because you don't have experience. You don't have experience because you haven't had a job. It's the same with miniature gaming. People don't want to be the first people to play a miniature game. They want to be the 45th person to play the miniature game in their store. Why? Because I'm not going to get a game unless I know my friends are going to play. And I'm not going to play a game because none of my friends are playing it. Right? It's the same conundrum. And, the people that stick their necks out and try to promote games despite GW having a, Stalin-like grip on the retail space is commendable. So, it's not. Anyway, that was a lot of ranting. But, and these models they're basically done. I'm going to let them dry overnight and then seal them. Yeah. That's my rant for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Who knows? The next time I stream, I'm either painting Mythic Battle Pantheon or some Aristeia. I don't know. Might paint some. Look at Dart. She's fun. Orange and black, man. This hot Wu-Tang colors. I need a little bit of yellow to blend this. Hold on. I'm not 100% done, folks. Hold on. Any questions, comments, or threats based on what I'm talking about? Feel free. If you think I'm full of shit, feel free to tell me why I'm full of shit. I'm more than happy to accept your point of view. I definitely wouldn't be the first time I was wrong about something. But in this case, I do not think I'm wrong about this. Here's why I think 40K is a bad game. It's a bad experience top to bottom, from, like I said, from building to painting to list building to getting on the table. We can do better. Miniatures games can do better. And if we really want the hobby to thrive, we should be rewarding better content from games manufacturers. So when games manufacturers do shit right, we should be playing their games. We should be promoting their games. Yeah. Here. Got a little bit of a yellow fade there now. It's nice. A little bit of a yellow fade down to the orange. Pretty damn cool. Alright. So, that's going to do it for this video, man. Oh, if I stream tomorrow, it'll be on Twitch. I'll be playing Ultima Online. I don't know. Maybe. I might do that. I'll take another quick break from painting. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just grumpy because I haven't played any like game for like 2 weeks. Haven't even been able to film a game for like 2 weeks. It's upsetting people.